Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure that we have come to the closing of a series of engagements that have been part of the 55th session of the Conference of the African Ministers of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. From the outset, I wish to appreciate the Economic Commission for Africa for generously and ably hosting this Conference of Ministers. I'm glad that all arrangements have finally come out well. Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting highlighted the various challenges member states have faced during the COVID-19 era and the multiplicity of global shocks. While we note that substantial progress has been made in providing social safety nets and instituting policies to improve the livelihoods of the population, especially women and children, we acknowledge that the ability of our member states to effectively tackle poverty and inequality is being severely constrained given declining economic growth, narrowing fiscal space, rising debt, commodity shocks, and tightening global financial conditions. Without doubt, there is a high risk of missing the poverty and inequality targets set out in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and Agenda 2063. The Africa we want of the African Union. Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I would also want to commend the vibrant and strategic engagement and contributions of member states and other participants across all sessions of this meeting. I can confidently say that we have met all the objectives of the 55th Conference of Ministers. Member states have requested ECA to constantly provide them with technical support in designing policies and programs to address poverty. We were reminded that the empowerment of women and the youth is an essential ingredient to succeed and an imperative for our development. We also heard that we must focus on pursuing policies and strategies that will allow us to harness the demographic dividend and use it to the advantage of the continent. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to highlight some of the key resolutions that emerged from this meeting. There has been a call on member states to, number one, leverage the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade Area to strengthen their resilience to future economic shocks and maintain their sustainable growth. Number two, create wealth and increase domestic resource mobilization through prudent and targeted public spending, modernizing the tax system, and adopting homegrown fiscal and monetary reforms that attract small and medium-sized investors. Number three, explore other innovative financing mechanisms which have the potential to provide the much-needed development finance, but remain largely unexploited, like green financing. Number four, strengthen solidarity and collective effort among the African countries and ratify relevant resolutions to address insecurity and terrorism threats and ensure peace, security, and stability to underpin regional integration. Number 5, scale up collective efforts to increase agricultural productivity, local manufacturing, investment in infrastructure, trade in services, and digital interconnectedness as important aspects of regional integration. Number 6, revitalize efforts to implement infrastructure projects, including under the second program for infrastructure development in Africa and under the priority action for the period 2021 to 2030 to support industrialization and the development of regional value chains. Number 7, invest in the development of digital infrastructure and create an environment that will encourage private sector innovation and attract the foreign and domestic capital needed to enhance industrialization, create jobs, and alleviate poverty. Number 8, ratify the protocol to the treaty establishing the African Economic Community relating to free movement of persons, right of residence, and right of establishment as an essential enabler of the implementation of the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade Area and regional integration. Number 9, pursue people-centered policies and a development path that is resilient, inclusive, and sustainable by prioritizing investments in the sectors that have high multiplier effects and reducing poverty and inequality such as health, education, and agriculture. Number 10, consider reforming the education sector to ensure that the skill set match current job opportunities of the market. And number 11, increase budgetary allocations to science, research, and technology to make Africa's dream on industrialization and economic diversification a reality. Excellencies, honorable ministers, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to renew the commitment of the Bureau and of the government of Uganda as the chair of the Bureau of the Conference of Ministers, and my personal commitment to work with ECA in implementing the resolutions we have made at this meeting. Allow me to express my thanks and deep gratitude to the experts, the Secretariat, the media, and other service providers for working toward a successful meeting of the Conference of Ministers. I want to commend the leadership of ECA in advocating for more liquidity for the continent. Finally, I want to invite all member states to consider implementing the recommendations made at this meeting. I thank you so much, and I declare the 55th conference adjourned.